was actually in a classmate in my 8th grade, and we heard about it, but they were really quiet about it, so we didn't really know what was going on. And then kids started leaving class, getting picked up by their parents, so there were like 2 people left in the class.
I was in my 7th grade, I'm in that class, and one of the other teachers came running in the room and was like, "You need to turn on the news, you need to turn on the news. A plane just hit the World Trade Center." And I just remember one of my friends at the time just going completely blank because her cousin was in one of the towers. And about 10 minutes after that, my mom came to pick me up, and my cousin was in the National Guard at the time, so he was down in the city, and my uncle was a firefighter there, so he was first on scene at the World Trade Center. And we just sat and watched the news and waited for phone calls to see if anything would happen. We just sat and watched the towers just drop. I'm getting the chills right now, oh my god. And I just still remember it to this day. I sat in front of the TV for 6 hours watching replays of everything that happened. And I went to the site 2 years after it happened, and a sense of overwhelming compassion for everybody that lost somebody, and there's still rubble on the ground, and just the overwhelming amount of people that just came together, and it was just so amazing and beautiful. I'll never forget where I was. Thanks. I'll never forget where I was. And it's crazy to think that it was an hour outside of the city. It's just crazy.
Well, I was living in California at the time, so it was a little bit delayed, and then we turned on the TV, and which was kind of weird because we never turned on the TV at that time. It was right before school, and we saw the images, and it was really scary, but I was in 7th grade, so I didn't really know what was going on. I just moved to the country, and I went to school and I told all my friends, and no one knew what was going on either. And then my teacher was just really shocked.
I was in 4th grade at the time, I think, and I was in my school's music room, which was in the basement of the school, and the principal came in, and I remember that there was, I'm sorry, that's terrible. Basically my principal came in and told us, and there'd been students leaving all day, and I got really worried because my mom had been on a flight that morning going cross country, and I was scared out of my mind. But she called into the school, and I found out she was safe. I don't know. I really didn't understand it, except that it was on TV all the time. But I guess that's it.
Actually, that day, I was still in high school, maybe a freshman in high school, and my mom pulled me and my older sister, who was a senior, out of class because we had a doctor's appointment. And my mom was checking the surf report because we're from Virginia Beach and my mom surfs. And on the surf report it said, "Our prayers are with everyone in New York and Washington." And we were so confused, and then they sounded like they were really concerned. So my mom turned on the radio, and they said that one plane hit the Twin Towers. And after my doctor's appointment, I went back to school, and I saw all the teachers in the rooms crying, looking at TV screens, and I kind of found out right after it happened, I guess, because all of my friends had no idea because they were still in class. So it was interesting seeing everyone throughout the day, seeing how it impacted them. And halfway in the day, I go to school in Norfolk by NATO, and they almost canceled all of our classes because they were concerned for our safety.
Well, I was in 8th grade. I'm from Philadelphia, so it was kind of close to us, but not close enough where we were in immediate danger, but close enough where people were concerned and people were worried. Some kid ran down the hall and was turn the TVs on, and there was a live feed going on, and we saw the first tower burning, and then it went over the announcements that we all had to go back to our homerooms, and our teachers turned on the TV, and as she turned on the TV, the second plane crashed into the building, and that's how I kind of found out. It was kind of chaotic and really sad to think about, but yeah, that's it.
Math class at Dozier Middle School, and I just remember a teacher came into the room and whispered to him something, and he just got really quiet for probably about 5 seconds, and then he got his act together and he just looked at us and said, "Guys, when you get home, you need to talk to your parents and you need to turn on the news." So, we thought that was really weird, and nobody was really talking about it, but all the teachers seemed very, upset, and they didn't want us to know anything because they didn't want to be the ones to break it to us what happened. So, my parents were at work when I got home, so I just turned on the news, and I just saw the two towers, and that image of the plane going into the tower and it falling, and I just wasn't really processing what was going on. I just thought, it was a freak accident, and I just didn't understand. And then later on, all these stories about it was a terrorist attack, and it was Al Qaeda and all this stuff, and just from that point on, realizing that someone hated America that much to kill all these innocent people, and just that could happen at all to our country was devastating, especially when you're an 8th grader and you're so innocent, you don't know that that's possible. I mean, it was pretty upsetting. To this day, it's still I can't believe it happened, and from that point on, I think I've grown up so much. From 8th grade, I became an adult and a true patriot because I love my country, and I hate that this happened to us, but it was just eye-opening that there are bad people in the world and that stuff happens.